Okay, so, konnichiwa minasan. 私は日本語まだ上手じゃないです。すみません。That's why the talk will be in English, but I'm still practicing Japanese, so maybe one day I will speak in Japanese here. Who knows? And I'm very happy to be here and to be a part of this amazing conference. And I'm very excited because it's an on-site event after a very long while. My last personal attendance was in Vienna almost 1 year ago. So after a very long while, it's on-site or at least a hybrid event. So I hope in the future we will be again meeting in person with lots of people with this great audience. And in this session, we are going to talk about how being a tester looks like. A software tester or some other testers look like. And sometimes it can be very difficult and it can look very stressful. So we will investigate in detail, but first of all, before going deep in detail, let me introduce myself briefly. My name is Mesut and I'm from Turkey, from Istanbul. If you don't know, maybe you would know Cappadocia. Somehow it's very famous in Japan. So I'm from somewhere very close to Cappadocia. And I'm a QA engineer with more than 12 years experience. And currently I'm working for Rapid Robotics. Before I was working for Siemens, and mostly I'm dealing with test automation activities. I'm developing test code and integrating them into CI/CD pipelines in which the jobs are executing test cases, which are run after each commit, or by the nightly jobs executing each test case. So in this way, we are trying to ensure the product quality. And here you can find some contact information for me. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me or just feel free to get connected to me. And as I told, sometimes testing can be difficult. But what are these difficulties? First of all, we are not developers. It is another role, the software testing. But still, we have to do some development activities sometimes. We have to develop our test code and automate our test cases for to reduce the manual effort in our projects. So we need some coding skills part. I mean, sometimes we have to know the coding patterns, but the best practices or the anti-patterns to avoid. These are all the coding skills, and we have to be aware of the CI/CD integrations as well, not only automating in our local environment, but we are integrating them to pipelines as well. And sometimes we have to use different technologies like Docker images or some other execution environments. So we need lots of technical background. And sometimes even the testing is very close to the machine learning algorithms. So we have to know, at least have some little information about the technology that we will test. So these are all the technical skills that we need. And on the other hand, we need lots of social skills, soft skills. It is not only the technical part, because we are working in the teams, right? We are in contact with other people. We are in communication with lots of other parties, with the customers, with the end users, with the development teams, with the business teams. We are communicating to lots of people. So communication is very important. And we have some responsibilities. For example, before the deployment activities, before letting the product go into production, we have to take the decision if the product is ready to go, is good to go, or not. So in that case, we will release the block. So we have to take the responsibility to say that the product has some weaknesses or vulnerabilities, so we have to block the release. This is the responsibility and the decision that we should take. And in daily basis, we are reporting lots of bugs. So these bugs should be correct bugs, right? Because sometimes it is real bugs, real failures, but sometimes it is false alarms. So if the issues that we are reporting are the false alarms, then it is a waste of time. It will be a waste of time. So the bugs that we are creating should be the real failures. And on the other hand, we should not miss any bug, which are the silent horror cases. If there is a vulnerability on the bug, but we are not able to find it, then it's a silent horror. It will result in some critical consequences in the future because we are not able to find the bugs in time. So the bugs that we are creating should be the correct ones, and the bugs that we are not reporting should not be overlooked. We should not miss any bug, because if we let the bugs go into production, then the customers will encounter these bugs. And it will be a prestige issue for our company and for ourselves. So these are lots of different skills that we need, and the activities that we perform, and the responsibilities that we should take. There are lots of different things. So it looks like we should behave like a Superman, right? We should hold lots of skills, and we should hold lots of abilities. But eventually, we are human beings. So it is possible to make some mistakes. And it is likely to have some weaknesses. It's okay to have them. It's okay not to be okay, because if we ignore our weaknesses, if we ignore the mistakes that we do, then there will be no chance to improve ourselves in the future. We will not be able to find improvement rooms for ourselves. But if we embrace our weaknesses, and if we observe the mistakes that we do, then we will list them in the future and go over them, how we can improve them, how we will not do the same mistakes in the future. So mistakes or weaknesses are in the past, they are already there. We don't need to erase them, and we cannot, which is in this code we can see. Life is something that we cannot erase the past. But we don't have to erase, and we don't have to ignore it. We should embrace the weaknesses. But what we can do is, of course, maybe we cannot be a Superman, but what we can do is try to improve them as much as possible. So let's investigate these skills, these different aspects of skills, one by one in detail, starting with the communication. As we told, we are in contact with lots of different people, including the development team, the business team, lots of people. So sometimes we are acting like the representatives of our products or our projects. Because why? We are doing lots of demonstrations to the customers, right? Sometimes we are doing some demos and testers are there. Why? Because testers are the people who knows the product in the best way. If we were some developers, maybe it would be okay to know only the module that I'm working on. But since I'm a tester, I should know the product in the whole scenarios, the corner cases, the boundary values, lots of things, all the details about the product and the project. Because I'm testing end-to-end flows, not only certain modules. I'm knowing all the parts of the product. So I know it very well. So sometimes I should be representing the product to the customers or to the end users. And apart from that, sometimes we are working in the project, discussing some issues with the other people, other colleagues. Sometimes we are raising some issues, some bugs, and the development team maybe will rejecting it. I mean, maybe they will not be immediately accepting that. Maybe they will claim that it is not a bug. So what we should do is, of course, we have to support our claims. If we believe that it is a bug, then we should support that, right? With the relevant evidences and with logical claims. Because otherwise, they will refuse that it is not a bug. Then we will immediately accept and close the issue. Maybe it is not the best way. But what we have to do is give some evidences and give some logical claims and support our idea why we believe that it is a bug. So self-expression is very important. If we are not able to express ourselves, then they will not be believing to our claims. And at this point, being well-balanced is very important, because we should support our idea and we should discuss if the issue is a bug or not. But if we behave in a rude way or in an improper way, it is not a good way of communication. So being well-balanced is very important. On the one hand, we should support our idea strongly, But on the other hand, we should do it in a gentle way. So this is the balance of the communication. So to be able to achieve all these aspects, of course, we have to be self-confident. Otherwise, we cannot maintain a good communication channel. The next one is being practical. Because nowadays, the systems that we are testing is very complex and complicated. They are not very simple products. There are some applications integrated to some other applications running in the cloud or some other platforms. They are working on different environments like mobile or web or desktop application. So we are testing lots of aspects, not only one page, but lots of integrations, lots of adaptations, lots of interfaces. So we should be very practical to achieve all the testing activities. It is not easy. It is a little bit complex and complicated. And we have a very limited time for testing window. Maybe we have 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever our sprint is. We have to complete our testing activities. So we have to be very tidy and organized, because otherwise we will get lost in the procedure or process. Because I have to see my progress. I have some tasks to be done, but what percentage of those I have completed? I have to know it. For example, in the middle of the sprint, I should see what percentage of the task I have already completed. To be able to see this, I need lots of traceability matrices, maybe charts, tables, graphics, representations, lots of things. This is the working way in an organized way. Because otherwise, if I just start my activities randomly and complete some of them, and some of others are still waiting, if it is not organized, then it is very easy. It is very likely to get lost in the process. So being practical and organized is very important. The next thing is problem solving, and especially stress management. We are sometimes under stress. I mean, it is not very far away. Yesterday at the night, I had a deployment activity, and it was really late time. All the developers are already tired. They are going to home. And I'm also tired. I'm going home. I'm wanting to go home. And what we are waiting for is the results of the test cases. We are all waiting for the results of the test cases, if they pass or fail. If they pass, then we will let the product go to production and we will go home. But otherwise, if the tests fail, then we have to retry our activities from scratch. We have to fix the bugs and then deploy again and execute tests again. Too tiring, too boring. So we tend to see all the tests passing. Even under these stress times, my responsibility is find the bugs, right? Find the weaknesses. Even under this stress time, if I tend to pass all the tests quickly, then maybe it is likely to overlook some weaknesses. Even under the stress time, I have to keep my concentration. My concentration is to find the weaknesses, if there are any, to find the bugs and report them. So stress management and keeping the concentration is again very important. And there are lots of difficulties. So self-improvement is very important. Technology is growing. It is changing too fast. So we have to improve ourselves. We have to be aware of lots of things going on. I mean, maybe today, software testing is very close to machine learning algorithms. Maybe we can cure our failing test cases with self-healing algorithms. But we should be aware that these are being developed by different people. We should be aware of this fact. But how can we be aware of these facts, these developments, these improvements? Maybe this is a way to do that. So attending to conferences, attending to some different social information sharing platforms, and to be aware of all the development activities is one way. And after being aware, of course, we will have to provide the information to improve ourselves. In this way, we will be in this game, and we will be with the other opponents that are in the same role with we are. And The next perspective is the agility, because we are changing too much domains. I mean, sometimes I'm testing a mobile product, and then I'm switching to web application, and then I'm switching to desktop application, and then switching to some different domains. Sometimes I'm involved in the projects in automotive domain, and then I'm switching to IT domain, and lots of different, and robotics domain. And these are all different information background. So I have to be able to switch quickly to these different domains. And not only the domains, not only the products that I'm testing, but also the processes. They are changing too frequently. And the features that I'm testing are updating too frequently. So I have to be adapting very fast and quickly in an agile way. Because sometimes I'm getting the feature, getting the requirement, and then I'm starting my test preparations. And then I noticed that, I learned that the feature is already updated. It is already changed. So I have to quickly adapt to the changes and updates. So I have to keep my agility to be able to get rid of these kind of changes or updates. And we are talking about testing windows and limited time, because we already know that infinite testing is not possible. It is not possible. So we have to be selective. We have to select the subset. We have to prioritize test cases, and we have to go with the most prior ones. But what I can do is maybe select the most prior ones and do as much as possible. So how can I do as much as I can? I should be very efficient. I should remove the inefficiencies. I should remove the duplicated work. If a colleague in the team is doing one task and I'm also trying to do the same task, then it's a duplicated task. And it's an inefficiency. It's a waste of time. So what we can do is clearly define the test levels: unit test, integration, system acceptance, and end-to-end, whatever. Define all the levels and define the responsibilities. For the unit tests, you will do this. The development team will execute test cases. In the system level, I will execute the test cases. In this way, since I already distributed the responsibilities, I will not have any conflicts and I will not have any duplicated work. So being efficient is very important to achieve our goals. And as I told previously, sharing is very important. Why am I here today? Why am I here now? Why am I sharing my experiences? Because now I'm sharing, but then I will expect from someone else to share their experiences. And in this way, I will collect some different insights about their experiences. They encountered some problems and they are sharing how they solved these problems. They are sharing their solutions. And I'm collecting some insights. If I encounter the same problem in the future, then I can use the idea that I collected from the other persons or people's experiences. So now I'm here to share my experiences, and I hope you can collect some ideas, to collect some insights about the procedures that I encounter or the problems that I encounter, and the way I'm trying to do to get rid of these challenges or problems. So I'm close to the end of the presentation. So let me briefly wrap up what we discussed throughout the whole presentation. So we discussed that software testing can be sometimes difficult. There can be some difficulties. Why? Because maybe from outside it looks simple. You just test if it works or not. But we need some technical skills. And in the meantime, we need lots of social skills, soft skills, because we are not working independently. We are working in a team. We are in communication with the others. So communication skills is very important. To achieve our goals in a very limited time is very important. So being practical and problem-solving management skills are very important. Stress management is very important, not to lose our concentration. Our concentration is always ensure the quality. My responsibility is not report all the test cases pass, everything pass. It's not that. My responsibility is ensure the quality. And I have to be efficient, and I have to share, and I have to collect the ideas from the other people sharing. maybe conferences, events like this is a good way to do that, or maybe mob programming activities, some pair working activities is a good way to do that. So we went over lots of skills, and I hope it was a useful and informative presentation. So thank you very much for listening to me. And if you have any questions, and if we have time, I can get some questions. Thank you very much. ありがとうございます。Okay, do you have any questions? And from the room as well, if you have any questions, we can discuss. Any questions or any recommendations, ideas? Please don't hesitate to share. Sure.
素晴らしい講演をありがとうございました。自分がスーパーマンになって、チームとコラボレーションして、シェアリング、共有して、情報を集めて、それをまたチームに生かすっていうお話はすごく参考になりました。で、その際に例えば、開発者とテスターに例えばサイロがあった場合って、なんかなんていうの、トラブルとか、なんかチーム間の何か障壁になるようなことがあったら教えてほしいのと、またそれをどうやって改善していったかっていうのを教えていただければと思います。
Okay. This is a very good question. Thank you very much. And most of the time we have such gaps. We have such silos between the development team and the QA team. Sometimes they are resistant. They are not aware of all the quality activities. But then what I'm trying to do, and maybe what we should do, is act like a quality coach. Yeah, we should inform them what the quality, ensuring the quality looks like. We can share them the ideas and the information in which the activities which we have to do, we have to perform. So we are acting like a quality coach to the development teams as well, because it is very normal. You raise a bug, they tell that, no, it's not a bug, close it. Or sometimes we are insisting on executing the performance tests, not only functional tests or usability tests. We are checking lots of different aspects, and they just underestimate it. Okay, the product is working. We don't need usability tests. We don't need performance tests. But what we have to do is to explain why we need this usability test. Why I'm wanting this? I want to explain it as a coach. I want to describe it because the end users, the customers will use it. They're not only, okay, is it functional or not? Yes, it's functional, but it's not sufficient because the end users will interact with the UI. It will be easy to use. The buttons should be visible and designed in the best way. So there are lots of different testing aspects, and we can share these ideas and suggestions to the development teams as well. But at first, it is normal to get some rejections, or if they are resistant at first, it is normal. We have to be patient and each time explain in detail, why do we need this? Why am I wanting to perform these activities? Thank you very much for the question.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much.